Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. We have a tremendous wrestling card for you today here on All-Star Championship Wrestling, which, of course, features the world's greatest wrestlers.
My little itty-bitty bruiser buddies.
United States heavyweight champion from Brazil. The world's heavyweight champion from the AWA, Nick Bockwinkel.
The Midwest supporting, bruiser loving, positivity spreading, world's most dangerous podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty as he supports and promotes Midwest pro wrestling. Keep on growing with the Midwest Express. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
The Dave Dynasty Show. I'm your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you for joining us as we're back after taking a week off. You know, I got work stuff and the shoot job going on. I have home stuff going on, just all kinds of things going on. And, you know, sometimes, man, a dude's just got to take a break. I shut down for a little bit. And I appreciate everybody bearing with me as I had to, you know, the hectic schedule and things going on. You know, it was hard to get some interviews in and the editing in. So we just let's just take a break, take a week. So that's what we did, but we're back. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening and downloading wherever you do. We're available on all the major podcast platforms. Of course, lately, as we've told you, we've been added on to iHeart Radio and Spotify. So if you prefer any of those platforms, we're available there. Whichever way you do listen to us, please make sure you subscribe to us and share the episodes, share the posts out there for the episodes, and it helps spread the word, and we appreciate that. But we do have a great show today coming back. We have this giant newcomer to the Midwest called Big Cuz. He works over primarily in the NWF, trained by Roger Ruffin. Great guy, great talent, got a bright future ahead of him. We got him on the show today. And we also have Gary Emmitt, one of the owners of Asylum Wrestling Revolution, who have a big show coming up. We're going to hear from him. So talking about shows, that Asylum Wrestling Revolution show is March 31st in Indianapolis, Indiana. And on that show is Drew Skills, Calvin Tankman, Apollo Star, Dale Patricks, much, much more. I am intending to try to be at that show. That's my hope. So make sure you check that show out. And we do have some tickets to give away to this show, to the AWR show, in Indianapolis on March 31st. All you have to do is go to my Facebook page, Dave Dynasty, or go to the Dave Dynasty show page. And if you need help getting to that, you can just go to davedynasty.com, and there is a link right at the top. But just look those up, look on our walls, and there will be a post there on both of those, as well as on Twitter, which is at the Dave Dynasty. And just put in the request. It'll be first come, first serve. We're going to just give them out until we give them away. So get with us, check out those posts. And we'll get your name, and those tickets will call at the door for you there at the AWR event March 31st. So make sure you check that out. The quantities are limited for the freebies. So, you know, get on there, get some free fun. It's going to be a great show. And speaking of other events, this coming weekend, March 22nd to 24th, we will be in Chicago at C2E2. Lots of cool stuff going on there wrestling-wise. Kenny Omega is going to be there. The Young Bucks are going to be there. Marty Scurll, CM Punk. I don't even know who else is going to be there. But we are primarily there because we will be covering Jim Cornette's appearance in Chicago at C2E2, including his Have a Beef with Jim Cornette event. So watch for lots of stuff coming up from the show. From that, we are covering that event. We will have hopefully pictures, hopefully video, maybe some audio. Who knows what we're going to have. But we will be there covering Jim's appearance there. Very excited about that. If you're going to be in Chicago, drop me a note. Who knows? Maybe we'll cross paths, say hi. Maybe we can take a selfie. Let's set the internet on fire. Much like me and R.D. Reynolds did last week, right? The real deal R.D. Reynolds. Ran into him at Geek Mania in Columbus, Indiana. And we had to get a picture. A couple of old broken down wrestling managers there putting it out on the internet. So anyway, some other shows coming up that I will be in attendance at on April 6th. I will return, me and Ike and I will be returning to Muncie, Indiana for Delaware County Championship Wrestling. It's going to be a great, great show. Ike and I will once again be doing the live streaming and running the commentary on that show. It's going to be great. That show is being headlined by the Warlord, who will participate in the tag team main event in that match. But lots of other great talent. Bobo Brazil Jr., Vinny Vachetti, who else? Cousin Cooter, Joey Owens, Kai Faden, lots of great guys. Nate Matthews is going to be there, TJ Camp. Lots of great guys will be in the building, some competing, some just appearing, signing autographs and so on and so forth. But it'll be lots of cool thing. They sold that show out. It's a great building. They sold it out last time. Over 300 people in there. No reason to believe it will not happen again. So make sure you get to Muncie, Indiana on April 6th. Check that out. Again, if you're there, say hi to me, and let's cross paths there. And then we're also very excited. The weekend of June 8th and June 9th, we will be heading to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to cover Crusher Fest. This is the unveiling of the bronze statue for the Crusher in Milwaukee. Going to be very cool. There's going to be live music, food, beer, polka, some wrestling matches. It's going to be a cool thing that weekend. The unveiling of the statue is there on Saturday the 8th, and we will be there. So again, if you plan to go to that event, drop me a note, and let's meet each other there. And if you need more information on that event, go to crusherfest.com. Make sure you still support that cause for these events and all these other things, supporting the memory, the legacy, and the importance of the Crusher there in Milwaukee. So we will be there. And if you'd like us to appear at your event, if you'd like us to come and help, maybe do some commentary, do some live streaming, just be there in attendance, set up a booth for you, and help cover your event on our social media, on our podcast. It's all included in it. Drop me a note. If you're a promoter, if you're an event organizer, whatever it may be, just message me on Facebook or hit me up on Twitter, and let's talk and see what we can do to get us at your event and help get you some coverage. We like going out there and doing things. Lots of people contact us. We have limited dates that we take, limited dates we can do. So get a hold of us. Let us know what you had in mind, and see what we can do. We can bring a lot of things to the table for you, for your event. We're very, very willing and able to work with you. And speaking of working with you and helping you, if you need any promotional graphics help, maybe you need a flyer for your show, maybe you need a social media banner, maybe you need a kind of a simple logo design, some match graphics, whatever it may be, dude, I'm your guy. Check me out. I have very affordable rates, very quick turnaround. I can get you taken care of and up your game for your event. Again, check me out on Facebook or Twitter and send me a message. There's some examples of my work there on Facebook, some flyers I've done for several events. I've been doing flyers in one capacity or another for about almost 20 years. So it's been kind of crazy. A lot different now 20 years ago, back when we had to actually cut and paste pictures and all this stuff. Not cut and paste on the laptop, actually physically cut and paste. So anyway, if you need help, get with me. I'm your guy. So right now, we're going to go over to Ike Isaacs, my co-host, who has Gary Emmitt from Asylum Wrestling Revolution, and they are going to talk about their upcoming event on March 31st in Indianapolis, Indiana. Again, we will have tickets. Check out Facebook or Twitter for information on how to just get some of those tickets. First come, first serve. Give me a shout, and we'll hook you up. But we're going to go and talk to Gary now, and then after that, we're going to take a break, and then we will have the interview with Big Cuz. So right now, let me throw it over to Ike Isaacs with Gary Emmitt of Asylum Wrestling Revolution.
We'd like to welcome Gary Emmitt, one of the owners of Asylum Wrestling Revolution, who have a show coming up March 31st in Indianapolis, Indiana. First of all, Gary, tell us about your background with wrestling and your background as a fan of wrestling.
Okay, well, I mean, it all started back pretty much before I was born. My father used to actually make my mother sit in front of the TV and jam the TV real loud as he was watching Smoky Mountain and everything like that. And as soon as I came out the womb, my father had me watching wrestling. As I got older and actually became like an actual fan, I feel if you're forced to watch wrestling at that age, you really ain't a fan. It's just something you have to watch because your family's watching it. When I started recognizing what I loved about wrestling, my father made me stop watching my generation. He made me go back and pretty much study wrestling. I had to learn about Bruiser Brody. I had to learn about everybody from the old days, the Terry Funks, the Arn Andersons, all the old names. And then I got allowed pretty much at the end of the Rock and Stone Cold's era. That's when I started watching the Attitude Era, and before then, getting into WWF. Then, as I lost interest in the big names, I started finding out about independent wrestling. And that's when I started getting into the IWAs, the Ring of Honors, the Chikaras, all the locals and, independent wrestling. And then, pretty much from there, I met my partner in wrestling, Josh Stone. He's my partner in AWR, the other co-owner. We met through music business. He's a promoter. He does most of the big shows here in Indianapolis for the concerts at the Synodal and at Emerson Theater. We passed around the idea of doing wrestling because he's looking for a venture to get, away from the music business. So I always told him, I felt Indianapolis needed a bigger scene because me and my friends my age never really heard of a lot of local independent wrestling around here in Indianapolis. So, he went his way, and he tried the business out. I guess some bad stuff happened, bad business or something. Next thing you know, he came back to me and he was like, you know what, I want to give you a chance to do what your business model was. And ever since then, the past week for it, we're working on our third event, already have our fourth event, the next event pre-planned and ready to go.
Definitely, we kind of got a little bit of a history on you and Josh and AWR and how it came to be. But what sets AWR apart from other promotions? What makes you guys special as a promotion?
Ourselves, we like to two things. We're big about the fans. We're big about fan interaction. We're big, we don't have as being as what the industry and a lot of people in the industry use the term marks or smarts. We're not most of those. We don't book ourselves. We don't book our favorite wrestlers. We book who the fans want to see. We support independent wrestling. We go to WCWO shows. We go to FOD shows. We go to a lot of shows in our area to see what's going on, seeing how the fans, we talk to a lot of the fans. A lot of fans of AWR can speak up for this. I spoke to a lot of the AWR fans in Messenger and in person at shows. We like to follow the best of the best here in the Midwest. I can't say we pull every big name. We have pulled a lot. We do like a different style. We like trying to touch every base of wrestling. We don't just want to be an entertainment company. We like to joke about how they say we're not your father's root beer. Well, we're not your kids' wrestling. We do have cursing. We do have violence. We have a lot of different things. We like to try to pull every aspect of pro wrestling into one company.
And definitely having that kind of, little bit of a flavor from every, reach of wrestling is going to make you very much different from other promotions. But the Midwest, and particularly Indianapolis and the surrounding area, does have a very rich history of wrestling. Do you feel that AWR kind of has like a respect for that history and kind of builds upon it?
I say yes and a little no. The reason I'll say no is because we don't want to follow around what everybody's doing. And right now, and this is just, I'm a straight honest guy. I will shoot from the hip. I will tell you how I feel. We just feel a lot of the stuff is held back. Right. We feel like Indiana is held back a little bit. They're behind the times. FOD is fighting hard for that, to bringing in the younger guys and showing a lot of the younger people around the Midwest to Indianapolis. Because once again, Indianapolis has a very strong background in wrestling, and people really don't know that. If you go around, the only name you'll really hear from people my generation, I know the older generations know the older independent companies, but around here, the people I know, they only know what WCWO. That's the only promotion they know. They don't know about Dick the Bruiser. They don't know, the strong history of WWA. You ask WWA to people my age, they're thinking about Sting and all them, the company that came after WCW. They don't know WWA started a long time ago here in Indiana. So it's kind of hard. We respect them. I'd love to actually have some of those older names that meant something come in, and we do something with them. As we showed in our first show, we love bringing the legends in. We were glad to have some of the old school big names and the old school local names come in. But we also want to set ourselves apart. We want to be AWR.
For sure. And also, as we kind of came in, I briefly mentioned this, but you do have an event coming up on March 31st, which is part of the reason why we have you on here today. And it's called Merciful Fate. So tell us a little bit about that event and what fans can expect from an AWR show?
Well, I mean, I touched on a little bit about you're going to see the best of the Midwest. You're going to see the Impact stars. You're going to see the legends of Indiana and Drew Skills and Apollo Star. You're going to see, what we tried to do. We were actually pre-planned to book this show on February 14th. There was an issue at the venue that we recently became partners with, so we had to move it. We were bringing death matches back to Indianapolis. We're bringing the high flyers. We also worry about storylines that make sense. We don't want to try to copy any big names and say, hey, look, they're doing that and that's hot this month. We're going to do that too. We want to bring you excitement. We want to bring you entertainment. We want to bring you sports. We want to bring you wrestling. We want to bring every aspect of the entertainment business to you. We've actually trying to get concerts during wrestling events to try to intertwine a different kind of audience, bring bigger eyes to Indianapolis' wrestling scene. Now, Merciful Fate, really what you're going to be checking out is the big headline of that is going to be Drew Skills versus Clayton Gaines. I'm actually staring at the unseen AWR Heavyweight Championship belt, and we're going to be debuting that into that match. We have real big faith in Clayton Gaines and Drew Skills. Drew Skills, everybody knows in the Midwest. That's a very huge name. He's won a lot of debuting titles at a lot of the Midwest promotions. And that's the big headline match. But, I mean, our headline don't mean that's the only match. We have the Family Affair death match where the fans are going to be bringing the weapons. We have King's Ransom from OVW taking on IFHY. We have Apollo Star and Bradley Prescott IV. We have Impact superstar Ace Austin taking on the Beast from the Midwest, Calvin Tankman. We got Awesome Odyssey and Thrill the City, two of the hottest tag teams in the Midwest right now. And then the best match that a lot of people been getting a hold of me about is the triple threat with Brett Havoc, Scotty Young, and Jonathan Wolf. They're all waiting to see who can be the best of the next generation in the Midwest.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like an absolutely packed card. So tell us, where's the event being held, and where can fans get tickets? Because this definitely sounds like something nobody wants to miss.
Okay, now I can tell you there's different ways to get to the contact on us. We have our Facebook page. You can find us at Asylum Wrestling Revolution. We haven't really expanded to the Twitter, the Instagrams, which we're moving there. You can go to that website. You can find our event. You can also go to ticketrumba.com, and you can go there and search AWR. You can find any ticket information on there. I mean, those are the best ways you can come and see us and get any information that you need. Or if you go on the Facebook page, you will see a telephone number. That telephone number comes straight to me, and I have no problem answering it for fans, workers, interviewers, anybody that wants to call and ask me any type of question. I am more than willing to give any type of information that I can.
So before we move on, everybody out there who is listening, who wants to go see the show, you know where to go find us. So hop on your phone, your tablet, whatever, get some information, get yourself some tickets. But now I want to move on to something, Gary. I was told that coming into this that you had an announcement of some sort that you wanted to make on here in regards to AWR.
Okay, well, see, now, I don't want people to take this announcement as I take away from the hype and the, what would you say, the backing of our next event, Merciful Fate, on the 31st. Everything AWR right now, we're all pushing straight towards the 31st, because to us, it's going to be one of our biggest shows, because the heavyweight title is supposed to mean everything in every promotion. Absolutely. So, it's letting that be said, because Dave Dynasty and your guys' show is a very loved show here in the Midwest, and we actually appreciate you guys having us on. We saved to announce that come May 19th, we're bringing the first deathmatch tournament to Indianapolis in over 12 years.
Wow.
Now,
go ahead.
I love the reaction. Oh, sorry about that. This is not, I want to let it be known beforehand because I've already been getting messages to the two people that already know about this, man, asking me. This has nothing to do, no shot at IWA. We respect what IWA has done for the business, and we respect what they're still doing. Coming up on, I do believe, their 900th show. We salute them and what they're doing. We just feel, once again, in the Indianapolis area, there's something missing. As what was seen from the hype we were going to get on our February 14th show when we first announced Del Patrick's, Joey Owens, and Corporal Robinson in the Triple Threat Family Affairs match. A lot of hype got on that match. It actually got a lot more views than a lot of the other matches on the card. We had the bad incident, as I said before. Had to move the show back to now, March 31st. We seen FOD. FOD did a very good death match with Del Patrick's versus Levi Everett. Both very great wrestlers. We seen the fans. We were there in attendance for that show. From the bell ring to the end, every fan was on their feet. Every fan was clapping. Every fan was chanting. We saw the love and the miss for deathmatch wrestling. Now, let it be known, we're not going to try to go all out. We're not trying to kill people. We're not trying to, we're not trying to look like another company that used to do nothing but death matches. We just want to do this to show that the fans want it. We're going to give it to them.
No, absolutely. And I mean, that's incredibly exciting. That's pretty astounding news, especially since how long, Indianapolis has been without, deathmatch wrestling. And to say that, you're going to not only have a deathmatch wrestling, but a deathmatch tournament is absolutely insane. So obviously, I'm sure we don't have all the details yet, but do we have like a name for the show yet or anything like that you can share with us?
Well, I will tell you, we were going to say naming the first entry into the tournament until, everything came out and we got the whole lineup. But once again, because I'm on Dave Dynasty's podcast, I got to give you some juicy. And, we're going to tease you a little bit. I've got a lot of nice names, very nice names, but I want to wait for those. The first name is pretty much the best name for the Midwest Death Match, and that's going to be John Wayne Murdoch. Is going to be our first entry into the Asylum Death Match tournament.
Now, that is what I like to hear. John Wayne Murdoch is actually somebody we've had on the show before, and he is absolutely incredible and also a little insane, but that makes us even more exciting. I
think that's the perfect guy to let it start off right there, because that to us puts the foot in the sand. We're not just going to pull these no-name guys that are going to hurt each other for nothing. We're bringing in the talented deathmatch wrestlers. And there's a lot more that's coming that might surprise you, but I can't give away that. I'll take my cheap pop right now, but you just have to keep paying attention to the AWR Facebook page. We're definitely going to be announcing a lot of names coming very soon.
That's what we like to hear. So, first of all, before I get into this next part, Gary, thank you very much, of course, for coming on here and, first of all, telling us all this incredible news, but also just giving us a little insight as to what we're going to expect with your March show. But everybody who's out there, you heard it here. There's going to be a great show coming on March. There's also going to be another show coming in May that is going to absolutely blow you away. We have some information on it. We got our first entry, but you definitely want to watch their Facebook page to keep up on that, because I'm sure these other entries are going to be absolutely incredible. But definitely, thank you for sharing that with us. That's absolutely amazing.
Anytime, we appreciate it, man. Like I said, we wouldn't be AWR without the fans. We would just be, me and Josh would be two fans just going to local wrestling and just being fans. We wanted to do this for the fans. We want to bring them the wrestling they deserve.
No, absolutely. And I think that we're all really excited, and definitely I'm super pumped for the show on the 31st. I'm super pumped for everything else that's going to come from AWR. So everybody out there, you know what to do now. We need to support independent wrestling. We need to support the AWR. We need to support everyone. So go out there, follow them on Facebook, get some tickets. It's March 15th, so we still got a little bit of time before the show starts.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks to come see either me or Josh Stone, or you can get us on the Facebook. We definitely get you to some tickets either way it goes.
That's absolutely right. So I think that's going to pretty much do it. But Gary, I want to thank you, of course, very much for coming on here again. I mean, it's great to talk to, a promoter and get some good information from a great, promotion, but also a great show. And obviously we like the juicy details, of course.
Well, we love giving them, man. Just a little piece at a time.
That's right. All right. Well, then, again, thank you, Gary. And you know what to do now, guys. Go out there and support them. So we'll catch up with you soon. And we're going to keep our eye out for that May show, of course.
Okay, well, I can't wait to see you guys there. Dave Dynasty, your guys' podcast, you guys are more welcome. Get in touch with me. We might have some more little stuff for you guys.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to do that. All right, guys. Well, thank everybody out there. And again, thank you, Gary.
If you are looking for the best books, DVDs, and posters on classic wrestling nostalgia, then you want to visit crowbarpress.com. There are literally dozens of titles there, including biographies of the likes of Bruiser Brody, Ole Anderson, Ivan Koloff, and of course, Dick the Bruiser, as we've spoke about here on the Dave Dynasty Show. You want to visit crowbarpress.com for all of your classic wrestling nostalgia needs. Again, that is crowbarpress.com.
And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your co-host, Ike Isaacs, and today I am joined with yet again another amazing talent from the Midwest. We have with us Big Cuz. How are we doing today?
Doing good. Rock and roll. How you doing?
Right. Hey, rock and roll. I like that. Yeah, rocking and rolling. We're ready to go, living the American dream, as they say. But Big Cuz, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, first thing I just have to ask is, are you a shoot 7 feet tall? Because first thing I saw when I looked you up was your size. So are you a real 7 foot tall in real life?
Absolutely. The reason I get that a lot, I get a lot of, man, you're 6'10", you're 6'11". Here's the thing. Most 7 foot dudes are equally tall, torso and legs. I am all legs. So when I sit down next to people, I'm going to be the same size as you.
Right.
But when I stand up, it's going to be, I'm just a little bit taller.
Right. Those legs are going to extend, and you're going to see another 4 foot get added on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like mid-sized sedans are just not the move.
Right. Understandable. So, kind of along those same lines, how old were you when you reached 6 foot tall?
When I reached 6 feet?
Yeah.
I was probably a solid, 13 or 14.
Yikes. I mean, so you've been super duper tall pretty much your entire life then.
I mean, yeah, yes and no.
Okay.
Pretty much. I hit I was always tall when I was really little, and then I was a late bloomer, so everyone in middle school kind of shot up past me. And I was kind of short, and compared to all these 12-year-olds with beards and mustaches, I was short and had a baby face, which is kind of ironic. And just high school came around, and I was tall, but I wasn't like, oh my God, he's huge. I was just like, oh, okay, I'm a tall, lanky kid, And then and then I graduated high school. I graduated high school at 6'7". So I was the basketball coach, always was wanting me to play and all that, and I just wanted to train for football and everything like that. And then I left and went to college, and I grew another 5 inches after I graduated.
Man, and that's crazy too. And it's like, I mean, that's kind of the weird thing about, I guess that's the weird thing about growth spurts. Is like they just hit you out of nowhere like a brick.
Man, you're not kidding.
Oh man. So I guess so we're gonna deviate from how tall you are for a moment. So 'cause I'm sure you get those questions all the time, but
oh yeah, every day.
So other than being tall, where are you from? Where do you hail from currently as well?
I'm born and raised Middletown, Ohio. Still live here. my dad is the chief of police here in Middletown, so it kind of been just lurking around here for the last 21 years,
I like that term, just lurking around.
Yeah.
So, and you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but what was it like growing up there? I mean, did you play any sports? I know you mentioned football, and of course the basketball coach trying to get the tall guy to play basketball. But
Yeah, I played football mostly. I mean, when I was little, I played basketball as well. But then when I got into high school, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to focus on football. But the funny thing about me playing football here at Middletown was I actually was not that good. I was just big.
right.
And like there was dudes on my team that, they went to play D1 ball, and they're still playing D1 ball, and they're dominant and doing well. And I ended up playing Division I football out of high school, and it just wasn't for me because I didn't have the absolute drive and the dominant factor that those guys had. I was just big, and I was like, I think I need to maybe try something else because and then I was been a huge wrestling fan my whole life, so I was like, hey, let's give this a shot.
Right on. So, so you say you were a huge wrestling fan your entire life. So, who were kind of some of your favorite wrestlers growing up? I'm not sure if you watched like WWE or what it is that you watched.
Okay, so some of the veteran guys are gonna hate me on this one, but you know what? When I grew up in the mid 2000s. That's when I was a kid. So my favorite wrestler was John Cena. I'm not even gonna lie. My favorite wrestler was John Cena, and I used to beg my dad to get me all the T-shirts and all the chains and stuff he used to wear. And ever since seeing John Cena vandalize JBL's limo on SmackDown in 2005, I've been hooked ever since.
Right. And I'm not going to judge you for liking John Cena because honestly, John Cena has done quite a bit for wrestling, and I might not be his biggest fan, but he deserves some respect.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's great though. So the vandalism got you into wrestling. No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean honestly, that's not terribly untrue. It's it really kind of did.
You're just like, oh man, that's awesome. I want to do that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and then I statically, it's like static in my brain, but I kind of remember it a little bit. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, man, like that was, oh, what is he doing to that thing? Oh, he's beating him up now. Like what is going on? And they're like, oh, they're gonna have a match this Sunday, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna order that. I'm gonna watch it, and so yeah.
Oh man, yeah. These are the days before the WWE Network. Before we could just stream it. Oh man, the good days. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
But so obviously, being a fan of wrestling your whole life, and you tried some sports like you mentioned. You tried football. You liked it, but you're like, I want to try something different. And then when you turned to go to wrestling, how did you start the process of getting trained? Because obviously, we're in a technological age, so how did that work? How did you get into training?
Well, what happened was after I transferred out of Ohio State, I went to a school in Michigan called Siena Heights, and that was just an absolute mess. I mean, the coaches really, we didn't have much contact, and I just wanted to get out of there so bad. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to transfer to this small school, But so I'm sitting here, at this school, and I'm watching WrestleMania 33, and I'm like, man, what am I doing here? Why? I really want to do wrestling. I really want to do it. I'm not gonna do wrestling by sitting here in my dorm. I need to make a life change here, and it's gonna be a little tough, but I'm gonna try it. So I literally Googled pro wrestling schools in Cincinnati, and I was like, there's a couple of them. There's like OVW, and there's Rockstar and NWF, and I looked at Bone Crushers, and I was like, I picked Bone Crushers, and messaged NWF and was like, hey, messaged him on Facebook. I was like, hey, my name's Matt. You know, I'm a pretty big dude. At the time, I was like 6'10", like almost 6'11", and I was like, you know, I've always wanted to wrestle. You know, let me get some details on that. I would love to come down and, you know, see what it's all about and everything. And I ended up leaving college. Fun fact about it, I left college a week early before my exams because I really just couldn't take it anymore. And I started training that week after.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's not okay. I'm not gonna, kids, if you're listening, that's not the best idea ever. But you know, it's what I did, and I came back, and you know, I started training, started wrestling, and it took me a really long time to hit my stride. Just a little bit. It took me a really long time, and I just found Bone Crushers on Google and showed up one day.
So, and then if I'm not mistaken, I tried to do a little bit of research. You were trained with and by Roger Ruffin, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
So tell us a little bit about him and how that training kind of went.
Man, Roger is he's a no BS kind of guy. I mean, you know, with football, you know, you have all these trainers and all these you have all these people that you can go see if you're injured or, you know, you're hurting a little bit. So I spent a decent amount of time playing football in the training room and, you know, all that stuff. And my first day at training, actually, I broke my ribs trying to run the ropes. They showed me how to do it and everything. And I was like, okay, I got this. And I went and I, like, you know, Hulk Hogan kind of hits the ropes to the side.
Right.
Like, I kind of did that and broke my ribs. And I went up to Raj and I was like, yeah, Roger. I was like, you guys have like a trainer? And he started laughing. And I'm like, I'm going to take that as a no. All right. And Roger, I mean, he's hard on us, you know, but at the same time, I mean, what I know now about wrestling and the business in general compared to what I knew when I started is leaps and bounds. And I still have, you know, a lot to learn. I still go to training and all that, but like, it's the fact that in the span of almost 2 years, I can be miles ahead of where I was I can thank Roger for that one, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I've definitely, you know, I've had the opportunity to talk to other people who have trained with Roger before, and you know, it's kind of the same thing that they've always said, that he's very much no nonsense, like we're gonna either get this done or you're gonna get out kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen so many people come and go, like I really have. I've seen probably 100, maybe more people like in that span come to training and like maybe stay a couple times and then just bounce, like because I don't know if they can't handle it, or I don't know if they have prior commitments, or they figured out they didn't really want to do it as much as they thought they did. But yeah, I mean he's tough on us, but it's for all the right reasons.
Right, absolutely. So I guess kind of in that same line of thought, I mean, you had your training, like you said, you had to get used to everything. Once you get acclimated, you know, you start making leaps and bounds. But do you remember what your first match was and what that match was like?
Yes, my first match was NWF Future Stars. It was the first ever Future Stars show that NWF had run in a very, very, very long time. Basically, what happened? We had a surplus of trainees. I mean, we probably had 20, 25 trainees at one time, and a good amount of them were kind of on the same level. You know, like able to wrestle a basic match and able to, you know, they can read a crowd a little bit, and that's all due to the training and the trainers at NWF. And they dropped the bomb on us one day. Hey, we're running a Future Stars show, and you guys are all allowed to, like, going to be in it. So, you know, I'm like, oh, sweet. So my first match was against Rudy Rodriguez. He is a masked gentleman who hails from Tijuana, Idaho. That's crazy, right? And he it was about 4 minutes. And I thought like, yeah, I'm thinking like, oh, with wrestling, my cardio is way better than it used to be. And then I go out there and wrestle this match, and it's 4.5 minutes long, and I come backstage, and I'm just so blown up. And I'm like, oh my God, did I just do that? Like, it went so fast. But at the same time, like, I was so gassed out and blown up from a 4-minute match. And like, I guess it was okay. It wasn't like an awful match. Like, I did a decent job, I guess, of not showing the crowd that I was dead. But and I go downstairs, and they're like, "You're blown up, aren't you?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," and they're like, "Welcome to wrestling,"
You're just like, I was able to hide it pretty well. They didn't know I was internally dying.
Well, that's at least what I think. I don't know if I was able to hide it well. I thought I did, but the second one was a little different. The second one was I was not able to hide that one. But
what was your second match? You said you weren't able to hide it on that one.
Yeah, my second one was against the Star Rider, and everybody loves the Star Rider, but man, he moves a billion miles an hour, and I was just turning around, spinning around, doing all this stuff, and by the end of the match, I felt like I was going to throw up.
You're just like, yep, can't hide that.
Yeah, if you go back and look at some NWF pictures, you can see, and it's back. I think it was back I think it was in June or July. I wrestled Star Rider, and there's pictures of that show, and I'm just absolutely like, I look like I was just in a war, like not like, oh, that was a good fight. No, I look like I was just so blown up. My skin is all red, like my eyes were hanging low and everything, just because I just was so dead. And then I was like, yeah, I got to get my cardio up. So I started working on that after that.
Right. Yeah, I imagine cardio is going to be like that big important piece of wrestling, being able to keep your stamina in the ring.
Oh man, you're not lying.
Whew. I can just imagine that, getting in there and getting in, and you're going hard. Obviously, you don't want to let up, and then you're just like, all right, I'm out of steam.
Right, like, and I got out of steam like in the first 30 seconds of the match. So I was like, oh God, like this was, I think this was like a 7-minute. So the whole, like, I got blown up right at the beginning, and I'm just like wrestling this match, thinking in my mind, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And the crowd was just not there because they knew they could see on my face that I was so vulnerable, and you know what I mean?
Right. Well, look, you lasted 30 seconds. That's about 29 seconds more than I would have lasted. So, oh, man. So I guess on a different note, but also the same note, right now you're part of independent wrestling. Independent wrestling right now is incredibly awesome. I mean, it's better now than it has been in years. But in your opinion, what is the best and the worst part of being a part of independent wrestling?
Well, I can definitely tell you the worst part. The worst part is, man, like, wrestling is all that I want to do at the moment. I mean, like, it's everything. It honestly is everything I ever wanted, and I think that's the best part about it. But the worst thing about it is, there's a lot going on with shoot life, and like that's not, and it hinders wrestling sometimes, and that is, like, if it was up to me, I would want to be training all day every day, or wrestling and like hitting the road, all day every day, because I do stuff on weekends on, NWF and Primetime Wrestling, and I want that to be every single day. And unfortunately, I can't make that be every single day quite yet. And that's what I think the worst part of it is. And I think that'll just come with training and experience. But, I'm known to be somewhat impatient. So I think that's why. But the best part about it is this is everything I've ever wanted. I mean, this, like, there's nothing about this that I really don't like. I mean, yeah, like, people are hard on you, and some, like, you see some of the politics and stuff, but at the same time, like, I don't care. Like, I played sports, and sports was not near as fun as this, and not near as rewarding, and another best part about it is I've met I've met my brothers and sisters through wrestling. I mean, people that I've met through training and at other promotions and whatnot. I mean, they're my best friends, like ride or die, that I didn't even know 2 years ago. And I think that's the best part about it. I think in the wrestling biz, we're all a big family, and I'm glad to still be entering, but I'm glad to be a part of that, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. Absolutely. There's, that's definitely something that I've heard from other people too, is that, the wrestling community is kind of a camaraderie. Everybody's everybody tries to be in it together. Obviously, like you said, there's some politics every now and then, but for the most part.
Right. But there's politics wherever you go. I mean, there's politics at work. There's politics in your family. Like, and like my younger sister is the favorite, and that's a known fact. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something I got to deal with.
You're just like, look, I know you're the favorite, but
yeah. Like, it's just something you got to deal with in life, and that's what my dad told me from a decently young age. He told me, you're not going to be loved by everybody, and some people are life ain't fair. That's pretty much what he's getting at. Life ain't fair, and that's not everybody's gonna like you, and sometimes you're gonna get picked. You're not gonna get picked over people because the other person is liked more by the person doing the picking. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just part of it. And if I can't deal with that, then I'm in the wrong place.
Right. No, absolutely. And it's a harsh reality, but that is correct. Not everybody's gonna like you, unfortunately.
Right.
But so I guess kind of on a separate note, kind of go back to, what you do in wrestling and, your character. So obviously when I introduced you to everybody, you go by Big Cuz. So tell us about the Big Cuz character, who that is and how that kind of came to be.
The Big Cuz character is, okay, so at NWF, this is what we started with, gimmick wise, and we just kept it, and we tried to work hard at it and do a good job with it as best as possible. But me and my partner, Andre Makarov, we are the Men of Brutality, or shortened to the MOB, the Mob. So we are essentially mob characters. Andre Makarov is more or less the greasy mobster who, he talks a lot, and he's got me as his backup, and I'm essentially his hired gun hitman who his only weapons are really is what he can do to you.
Right.
And that's, we're the mob. I mean, and that started with with the Future Stars show. We've had that since day one, gimmick wise, and Jay Donaldson. Everybody loves 22-year-old stud, but he's one of our main trainers at NWF, and he came up to me and goes, "Well, okay, so we got a gimmick idea for you. We got a name and everything." I'm like, "Oh, sweet, I'm about to get this cool name and everything." And he looks at my partner and he goes, "You're going to be Andre Makarov." And he looks at me and goes, "And you'll be Big Cuz." And I looked at him and I said, "Big Cuz? What kind of name is that?" And I was, for a little bit there, just like not too long, I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "That's just a terrible name." Like, I was like, "That's," and then, but then I started wrestling and started doing the thing. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I kind of like this now. I'm going to make this my own. And ever since then, like, I just been working on making it my own. And now I like it. I mean, it's what it is. And that's all thanks to Jay Donaldson.
You're just like, oh man, my partner gets to be Andre Makarov. I wonder what my name's going to be. Big Cuz. Didn't expect that.
Right. He's like, you guys are going to be Russian mafia. And I was like, man, I can't speak Russian. Like, what do you... And he's like, "No, don't worry. You won't be doing much of the talking." I'm like, "Okay, perfect."
You're like, perfect.
Right.
Better start working on that Russian accent.
Russian accent is so hard. I mean, I can do like a British accent maybe, or I can do a pretty good Canadian accent, but like not Russian.
Russian accents, there's so much that goes into that. You got to really you really got to commit because you got to get all like the enunciation of everything. It's too much.
Right, right.
Oh man. So that's great though. I mean, it's hilarious that they're just like, yeah, you're just gonna be Big Cuz, and you're just like, I guess.
Right, because I'm thinking in my mind, like, okay, you know what? Like, at least I'm on the show. I'm happy about this. If that's what I'm gonna go with, that's what I'm gonna take. So, whatever, we're good.
They're like, take it or leave it, and you're like, I'll take it.
Right? Have you ever heard like that Triple H story of Killer Kowalski giving him his name when he was like, "You will be the Terrorizer," and he's like, "What kind of name is that?" Like, and then he's like, "Oh, we'll cut it in half, Terra Rising." Like, that's in a way like how I felt. I was like, Big Cuz, like, who is gonna take me seriously with the name Big Cuz? And then they're like, well, if you do a good job with it, then everyone will take you seriously. I'm like, oh, makes sense.
You're like, well, if you put it that way.
Right.
So obviously we've gotten to know a lot about how you got into wrestling, kind of your upbringing in it, your training, your first match, basically the first, the beginning part of your career. So another aspect of it, obviously, is that you have your in-ring persona and you have your out-of-ring persona. So, what is Big Cuz like outside of the ring?
Okay. Big Cuz and Matt are two way different dudes. I personally am not much of a violent kind of guy. I'm laid back. I like, movies and comic books and all that good stuff. And like, I'm Big Cuz is a super violent human being with a very short temper. I have a decent ability to be able to hold my temper usually. I'm, like I said, I'm pretty laid back. Big Cuz is not. Everything, I'm not a violent guy. Like, I mean, confrontations don't happen with me for real because I'm better at talking it down. Big Cuz likes to fight people and hit people and slam people around. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Oh, also, I like to talk a lot. I don't know if you know that. I probably said a billion words already here on this podcast, but it's all good. Yeah, I talk a lot. It's just one of my personality traits, and Big Cuz does not talk a lot. So that's we're like completely opposite people, but it's great to be able to switch into that and kind of find like the character aspect of it, and try to keep working on that because it's the way that the character is. It's such not me, so I find that interesting, and I just spend a lot of time working on that because it's cool to have like an alter ego that's totally different from how you are in real life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So then, I guess just to touch on a little bit. So you said one of your hobbies outside of this is movies and comic books. Have you seen the Captain Marvel movie yet?
I was there after training on Thursday, so yes. Our training ended. It goes from 6 to 8 Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Captain Marvel came out Thursday night. And I had already bought my ticket like 3 weeks in advance, so I went straight to training, all sweaty and everything, like, and sat right in the IMAX theater for 2.5 hours. I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, I'm cool with this.
Right on. And I'm sure you've seen. As you see the new Avengers Endgame trailer from.
It came out when.
Like yesterday, maybe.
Yesterday. So I've probably seen it a billion times since then. I woke up. Twitter actually gave me a notification that trailer came out, and when they gave it to me at like 8 a.m, and I was at work, and my phone went off, and I pulled it out and I was like, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. So I went to the bathroom and straight up watched that like 5 or 6 times like in a row with like just restarted it every time it ended. So yeah, I'm loving that.
Yeah, so I'm super stoked. I've not seen Captain Marvel yet. I think I'm probably gonna Probably going to see it this weekend, but I'm super stoked for Avengers Endgame. It's going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
For anybody out there, for anybody out there who doesn't know what we're talking about, you live a very sad life. You need to crawl out from under that rock and go watch some movies. Exactly, facts.
Dude, like for real, man. Like I don't understand what people are doing if you're not watching those movies. Like it's, I mean, you must have a lot going on.
Right? Apparently, being kidnapped and taken hostage. Apparently, like
right.
you borderline have to like actually be living under a rock to not know about those movies. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But so then, other than so everything, like I said, we kind of talked now about your in ring, your outside of the ring personas. So I guess the next thing is that with wrestling and life in general, of course, it's good to have goals. So what kind of goals do you have for the remainder of 2019? It's middle of March, so we still got quite a bit of time left. So what can we expect to see from you in this year?
My main goals are honestly just in 2019 to really get better. I mean, by the end of 2019, I want to be taken very seriously as a performer, as a wrestler, as as somebody who trains. And I'm still ironing out the fine details of everything. Like that's my biggest problem in the ring is it's all the little stuff. It's all the character stuff. And I'm still kind of ironing that out a little bit. And I think by the end of 2019, I want people, I want my trainers mainly to look at me in the ring and be like, okay, I mean, you're getting it, I'm 100%. I'm not going to know everything by the end of 2019, but at the same time, like, I just want to just keep improving and keep hitting my stride and just keep on it, and I think with the training we got, I also trained down at PTW with Larry D, and I think that helps a lot as well because I get a lot of individualized attention down there at training, and he's hard on me too, but at the same time, like it's a little, NWF we got 20-25 people, and PTW they have not near as much, so you get a little bit more individualized, and I think that extra little bit of training on Sundays is going to help me, tremendously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely, we hope to see bigger and better things, of course, from you. But definitely be keeping an eye on that. So I guess one last thing as we kind of wind it down, because obviously we want to all keep up with all the great stuff that you're going to do.
Right.
And the great age that we live in, social media is a wonderful thing. So do you have any social medias, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff that people can follow you at?
I do. I'm going to throw Twitter and Instagram out there. Those are my two. If you want to connect with me and Big Cuz at the same time, they're both the same @name. It's @TheBiggestCuz. Go ahead and give me a follow. You'll find a lot of daily destruction and lame puns. So I think that's quite entertaining. So, but yeah, that's Twitter and Instagram are my main two things. Facebook, I get that. A lot of people have a wrestling Facebook, and a lot of people use their Facebook for wrestling purposes. I look at Facebook as more or less a personal page.
Right.
So I connect a lot with friends and family that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's more or less a personal thing. So I mean that works too. Facebook works too, but at the same time, you're going to get the best of Big Cuz on Twitter and Instagram.
Right. And that is at the biggest Cuz.
Yes. Yes. Emphasis on the biggest. Yes.
Emphasis on the biggest.
Yes.
That's great. So everybody who's out there listening, you know what to do now. Go out there, follow him on his Twitter and Instagram. Follow him, keep up with his bad puns. Just watch him grow. I don't think he can grow anymore, but watch him grow. But first of all, thank you so much for coming on here and actually talking with me and giving us a little insight into your career and kind of what you do in and out of the ring. So we definitely appreciate you taking your time on a Friday night of all nights to do that for us.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it. This is awesome. This is the it's cool to get to tell a little bit of the story, and maybe people be interested, maybe not, but if they are, that's that's great. And I thank you guys so much for having me on here.
You've heard him here on the Dave Dynasty Show as a guest and as host of the monthly Graham's Gallery episodes. And now you can hear his stories. You can own a copy of Confessions of a Big Time Wrestler, the audio book from Dr. Jerry Graham Jr., former multi-tag team champion in WWA and owner of Bruiser Bedlam. You can hear all of his encounters with the various wrestlers, places, and promotions he's worked as he tells about his colorful, long, and illustrious career. You can have your own copy for only $25, and that includes shipping and handling. It's very simple. Go on Facebook, look up Jerry Jaffe, Jaffe, send him a private message, and make arrangements to purchase a copy of Confessions of a Big Time Wrestler now. You will not regret this purchase. All right, and we are back. Thank you for joining us this week for a great episode of the Dave Dynasty Show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Interviews with Gary Emmitt and Big Cuz. Again, get out to that AWR show on March 31st and catch us at any of those events that we mentioned at the top of the show. We will be around and say hi. And if you'd like us at your event, make sure you reach out and contact us. Let's have some fun. Let's bring a little positivity to your event and to Midwest Professional Wrestling. Thank you for all your support. Make sure, again, wherever you listen to the podcast, whatever platform you do, subscribe to us, and if applicable, leave a rating and a review. Share our episodes. Help spread the word. That's what we do, right? That's how we have to grow, is with the help of you guys. Go to davedynasty.com. At the top, there's links to all of our social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Check out all those things and make sure you follow us at all those things. We do lots of cool stuff, post a lot of newspaper clippings, old pictures, share a lot of stuff. It is really the best way to follow what is happening and also to these discussions on the history of Midwest Professional Wrestling. So go to davedynasty.com. That's your central hub for everything. And let's key on making sure you also subscribe to us on YouTube. We are so close, getting so close to that magic mark of being able to monetize our videos again and have a little income coming in. We're very excited, so help get there. If you do not subscribe, go to it. And why would you? Besides just helping us out, why would you not go there? Because there's lots of classic wrestling, all the podcast episodes, some cool clips, all kinds of cool stuff there. So go subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you'd like to help keep the show free and support us, there's a couple ways you can do. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/The Dave Dynasty. We'd really like to sell some shirts. See some more Dave Dynasty Show shirts showing up at events and whatever else. Or you can get the Dr. Jerry Graham Jr., the Izzy Slap West, or the Midwest Express shirt. They're all there, and that helps us out a lot. Or you can go to paypal.me/The Dave Dynasty. Make a one-time contribution to the show, even if it's just a couple bucks. That helps us out with our costs, some of our hosting things, equipment, etc. Or you can go to patreon.com/The Dave Dynasty and make an ongoing monthly contribution, which helps us out regularly, and we'd appreciate that. If you plan to do any shopping on Amazon.com or HighSpots.com, first visit DaveDynasty.com. Click on those links at the top. It'll take you through our affiliate link. No additional charge to you, but we get a little kickback for whatever you buy. And if you go to DaveDynasty.com, we mentioned the PayPal and the Patreon. There's easy links, easy buttons right there on the main page to hit those to make contributions. We appreciate that. We really, that stuff's very important to us. Helps keep the show free. Help keeps us going every week. Again, helps us with our hosting costs, our equipment costs, all that stuff. So again, if you'd like us at your event, or if you need a little graphic, flyer, promotional help, look me up, contact me. We're here for you. Let's have a little fun and do what we do. Spread positivity in wrestling because there's so much negativity out there. So let's have a little fun. And remember, Midwest Professional Wrestling, what it is and what it always will be. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Dave Dynasty Show. And until then, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.